All right, throttle set. Clear prop. Okay, Morgan?
I can.
Perfect.
Can you hear me?
Yep, sounds good. Okay, so we've got a few minutes just to let the engine warm up. So I always just kind of note the time of start and give it a, I like to do 6 minutes of warm up.
Cool.
That leaves enough time to get the engine fully warmed up and up to temperature. So we've got another 3 or 4 minutes to just do that. So
cool.
You asked about VX and VY. So when we are climbing, when we're just cruising along at whatever speed we cruise at, you know, we have excess energy that at the moment is being used to make us cruise faster. But we could use some of that excess energy to turn it into a climb. And by angling the nose up, we put a little bit of angle of attack on the wing, which means the wing, you know, the wing is like this, get a little angle of attack, and now we start climbing. Well, we can climb at a variety of airspeeds, but there are two that are important. They have to do with efficiency. So under one scenario, we want to climb as steeply as possible. So picture we're climbing and there's trees coming and we need to get over those trees right now. We want to go, if we could go straight up like a fighter jet, we would go straight up, but we can't. So we want to climb at the speed that gives us the steepest climb angle to get over the trees which are coming. That's VX. Best angle of climb.
Okay.
And the other scenario that has to do with efficiency is we want to get up to cruising altitude. It's nice and cool at 2,000 feet. We want to get up there and just hang out. And so we don't necessarily care about going steep. We want to get up there as quickly as possible. So we don't mind that we're covering more distance. You know, we're running over the ground pretty quick.
Yeah.
We just want to get up to altitude because we want to cruise. And that's our best efficiency. That's our best rate of climb. That's VY. So best angle, VX, best rate, VY.
Got it. Got it.
And we can go faster, or we could even climb a little bit slower, but we start paying a penalty on efficiency.
Does this plane have such a wing and lift to weight ratio that it could climb a little on a good thermal?
Oh yeah. Yeah, if we hit a good thermal, we'd feel a good bump, and if we were to circle in that thermal, we would definitely climb in it.
That's cool.
I don't know that we could do it with the engine completely off, because we got a lot of drag. Under the right conditions we could, but maybe not under normal conditions.
Yeah.
But we would definitely find a thermal while we were cruising along, throttle back to a really low RPM.
And feel the difference.
Yep, and feel that lift.
521, final 18.
All right, so Morgan, one other thing, the instrument right in front of you on the right-hand side, it says ALT, that's our altimeter. Okay, see how it's got a little hand and a big hand?
Yep.
The little hand points to the thousands of feet, so we're at 1,000 feet, and the big hand points to the hundreds of feet. So we're at 1,000 and about 60 feet. So see how that?
Yep.
that's how we're going to read that. So we're always going to be somewhere, you know, around there. As we get over by the river, it's lower by the river, and so we're going to drop down below 1,000 feet. Or if we climb up, you know, we're going to be maybe at 2,000 feet. Okay. There's a knob in the lower left-hand corner. Just twist that a little bit. You'll see the big hand will move. Twist that the other way so the big hand goes exactly to 0.
Roosterville.
Yep. Now we've calibrated our altimeter for field elevation. Because every day the temperature and pressure is a little bit different than the last day. So we got to make adjustments to our instruments so they read accurately.
Okay.
So that's what we've done. Okay, and then on the other side, on the left-hand side, there's a big instrument. That's our airspeed indicator. And so you see that, you know, we're sitting at around, well, slightly below 20 on the outer scale. There's an outer scale and an inner scale. I'm always just going to use the outer scale. That's just errors in the indication, but as we start to accelerate, that needle will come up and point to our current airspeed. And that's just based on the ram air pressure going in that little pitot tube in the front.
Okay.
The more ram air pressure, from the faster we go, the more air pressure pushes on that instrument inside and makes the needle go up. And it's calibrated in knots because that's what we use when we're talking about airplane stuff. So when we take off, you're going to see it start to come up, and around 40 or 45, we're going to rotate, meaning that we're going to lift the nose wheel up, a little bit of back pressure on the stick, and that's going to start creating lift on the wing, and that's going to allow us to climb out.
Okay.
To leave the ground and start climbing. And we're going to climb somewhere between 50 and 60. 55 is good, 60 is good also. You know, this goes back to our VX, VY. You know, VX is 50, VY is 55, and we can climb out at 60. That's a little faster, and it's good too. So somewhere between 50 and 60 is where we're going to climb. I'll probably shoot for around 55 or so.
Okay.
And then we can just cruising around. We're going to be around 60 or 65, and we're just going to kind of do that. The other instruments that you'll see in the next row down, starting on the left, we have our fuel gauge. It tells us we got about a 3/4 tank of gas, which is good. We have 8 gallons. The next one is our cylinder head temps. So we're sitting down around 150, 175, which is normal. 200, 225 is about normal for in-flight. And then the next one over is our exhaust gas temperature, which is a measure of whether the engine is running too rich or too lean. And right now we're idling, and so it's really rich. It's off the scale, so it's super low temperature. It's not even registering. No, I'm sorry, I missed that center one. That's a RPM gauge. The next one over, yeah, it's an EGT. So you'll see that on in flight. It'll come up and be around 900 to 1,000. That's normal. You can see those red lines up there. That's the, hey, something's going really wrong. We got to do something because the engine's going to overheat. And then over here on the corner, you see the tiny tack. That's our current tachometer at 2780. And so you're just going to use that as easy to use tachometer. And we're going to, you know, full power, we're going to see about 62, 6300. And at cruise, it's going to be about 5800. That's what we're going to be looking for. And that's pretty much it. You'll see the main stick, you're familiar with that from the Sonex. So, you know, we got ailerons, you know, left and right. And we got elevator back, you know, pulling back, because that's our nose up, and then pushing forward is our nose down. So normal cruise flight's about right here. Our rudder pedals, and then that grip, that bicycle, you know, brake grip on the front is our wheel brakes. Cool. So that gives us our braking action on the main wheels. All right, I think that takes care of our warm-up and our orientation. You ready to go? Awesome. We got another airplane flying around the pattern, so we're just going to have to watch for him. I'm not sure where he is, although I heard him a minute ago. So we're going to stop right up here at the edge of the runway, and we're going to find him. Could be off to the left over there. Yep, there he is. So we'll wait for him to make his landing, and he might do a touch and go, or he might taxi back. So we'll see what he does, and then we'll take off. Looks like he is going to turn around and taxi back. Since we got a minute, what questions do you have?
can't think of any at the moment. Oh, I'm curious. Give me a practical example of the maximum reasonable range if you wanted to make a long flight in this. I know this isn't a plane for comfort, but...
Yeah, so most flights in this airplane are an hour, maybe an hour and a half. We burn 4 gallons an hour. We have 10 gallons of gas, so we can do 2 hours with a little bit of reserve. That 2 hours would be about our maximum leg distance. So if you're going to fly a really long distance, you have to break it up into smaller legs. So you fly for 2 hours, you gas up. You fly for 2 hours. You can do that as many times as you want, to get to your ultimate destination. When Isaac and I flew this airplane from Colorado to Mississippi, that was 1,000 miles.
Wow.
It took us 4 days. We'd do that. We would normally do 3 legs per day. So fly, 2 hours and stop, 2 hours and stop, and then we would stay the night. It was about 25 hours flying time to get there to do that 1,000 miles. And it was fun, you're kind of tired at the end of the day.
Yeah.
But, think about like riding a motorcycle. It's not a lot of fun when it's raining.
Yeah.
But on a pretty day, you got nowhere to be in a hurry. It's fun, you just cruise. That's
cool.
how flying this airplane is.
Cool adventure.
Yep. All right, he is clear, we are going. Alrighty, so our control check, our final check, make sure our seatbelts are tight, our chin straps are fastened. Going to line up on the center line and bring the throttle up, and away we go. Alright, I see 6,400 on the RPM, which is good. That's full power. There's 45. over here to the right, just out in front of us. That's the Liberty Sports Complex off of Old 210.
Yep. We did a baseball tournament there. Turf field.
Yeah.
Is that an RC racetrack? What is that?
Probably an old horse exercise pit
Yeah.
that hasn't been used in a long time.
Oh yeah, of course.
So there's this pond over here, which you can see when you're driving out to like Lee Summit. It's got a floating dredge in it, and it's got a sand and gravel operation.
Okay.
So there's a big sand deposit there, and they've been pulling sand and gravel out forever. So if you've ever driven by there and seen like a boat out in a pond, you're like, what is that? That's what it is. And from the air, it's a whole lot easier to kind of see what's happening.
Yeah, I've driven by that and wondered what the heck it was.
Yeah.
Do you recall seeing, and probably when the market was different, do you ever recall looking into cornfields and knowing that there was a clandestine patch of marijuana, able to recognize it fields from above?
I've never done it. I'm not familiar enough with kind of what it would look like.
Yeah.
But I know that you know they do that. They do spotting, you know, crop spotting and all that.
Yeah.
Especially like in areas like wilderness areas, national forests.
Yeah.
Because there's a pretty big difference, you know, between a broadleaf marijuana plant, underbrush, and all that.
Yeah.
And so, you know, you hear stories about people who are flying along over the ridge line and somebody's shooting at them. You know, it's the pot grower, you know, trying to defend his crop.
Yeah. Wow. center.
goes up so it's like on the horizon. Now that would be like a climbing attitude, a gentle climb. And you'll notice that our airspeed starts to drop as we start to use that power that was making us go fast. We're now using it to climb.
Right.
And if we were to let the nose fall, you know, substantially, we would start to descend and we would turn that altitude that we have into airspeed, just like cruising, coasting down a hill in the car. Coming off of that rock dike right there.
Yeah. What an awesome way to see this river.
The river's constantly changing and we're always trying stuff to see what works and what doesn't.
Yeah.
Alright, now I want to show you the next thing. We'll just fly on this side of the river for just a little bit. So just kind of level us out going along the river. Now, if you look out, there's a piece of string taped to the windstream. It's
Yeah.
out. Okay, that's the yaw string. The yaw string tells you whether the air is flowing straight over the airplane. So if we're like this, we're going straight into the air, the yaw string is straight. But if we kick sideways, now the air's going sideways across the nose, and the yaw string is off center. So what I want you to do is just level the wings, and then I want you to step on one of the rudders and watch how the yaw string moves. So don't bang the wings, just step on a rudder and watch the yaw string move.
Oh yeah.
So we're flying sideways a little bit, and the string is telling us that, hey, you're not coordinated.
Right.
The nose is not directly into the wind. So the way we use the yaw string is, when you see this string over and there's a big old gap created, the string's off to one side, there's a big empty space that's now created. You want to step on the empty space. So, like right now, there's a little bit of an empty space on the right, so you need a little bit of right rudder. Step on the empty space till it centers. And then it comes around and centers again. Okay? So, step on the right rudder a lot, make a, you know, a pretty good size yaw. Now, see how that empty space is created on the left? Yeah, so you're going to use that yaw string to tell you whether you need right rudder, left rudder, whatever. Now, sometimes just flying along, you'll need a little bit of rudder just to kind of get straightened out. Other times, in a turn, you'll need a little bit of rudder to keep us going coordinated.
Yeah.
So that's the next thing that we're going to do. Now, you just stay on the controls. You're going to feel me. I'm going to demonstrate. So, okay, so I've got the controls just now, if I want to make a turn to the left, I'm going to make a turn. I'm not going to put any rudder in. I want you to watch the yaw string when I roll to the left. See how that yaw string?
Yep.
So we're not coordinated. I need a little bit of left rudder to center that. Now we're flying coordinated.
Yeah.
Okay? I'm going to roll out to the right. I'm not going to step on the rudder. I roll out to the right. See how we got coordinated? I need a little bit of right rudder to straighten this back out.
Yeah.
Okay? Now I'm going to do the same thing. I'm gonna turn to the left, but I am going to put a little bit of rudder in. A little bit of rudder, a little bit of aileron, and we stay coordinated all the way through the turn. Now I'm done turning. I want to roll out. I'm going to roll to the right. I'm going to give a little bit of right rudder when I roll, and we're going to stay coordinated, more or less. Okay? We use our rudder to keep the nose pointed into the wind.
Right.
Alright, so you're on the controls again. Your airplane, I want you to do just a couple of gentle turns, and I want you to give it a little bit of rudder when you roll into the turn.
Okay. And stepping into empty space means the string is this way, right rudder.
Yep.
Okay.
Step on the empty space. When the yaw string flips over, there's a big empty space created. Step on that empty space. So see how there's an empty space to the right? A little bit of right rudder. There you go. Okay, let's stay over the river so we don't go over these trees. So you can keep on turning and come back around, and then we'll kind of fly over the riverside, the farmland area.
I can actually intuitively feel that a little bit.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. That's not that hard.
turns, you know, right and left, and so you get a good feel for giving it a little bit of rudder. Follow me on the controls so you can kind of see and feel what's going on. So if we're making a turn, and say we got the rudder a little bit out of balance, you know, we weren't paying attention, and we're doing a turn like this, but we realize, oh wow, look at that, I don't have nearly enough rudder. We can just give it a little bit of rudder and kind of get it coordinated. And then that's good. We found the right amount of rudder, and we're good. But say we, you know, we weren't really sure, and we gave it a little bit too much rudder. We were trying to find that sweet spot.
Yeah.
And we're like, oh, that's too much the opposite way. But just back a little bit back out.
Yeah.
So we can fine tune it. It's not an emergency that we have to do like right away. So same thing. We roll in, and we say, okay, give it rudder. Oh, that was way too much. You know, I can take a little bit back out.
Too much rudder in a turn does cause you to lose lift.
It will cause the wing to dip a little bit. So like we dropped a couple hundred feet in that turn because we were kind of like spiraling down.
Yeah.
So I needed a little bit of back pressure also. Okay? Alright, so you take over your airplane. And I want you to do just a few more turns right and left.
Okay. Back up to maybe 500 feet. Yeah, okay.
Alright, let's kind of come back to the right and stay over the farm. Alright, so now I want you just to kind of fly along straight level. And what I want you to do is I want you to feel in your back. You're going to feel as we get coordinated, you start to slide like this. You feel it on your shoulder blade.
Yeah.
Slide, slide. Okay? So just slide straight and level, and you're straight level. Okay, now, I want you just to step on the right rudder and feel your shoulders reacting to the slide.
Okay.
So just step on the rudder. So you feel that? You feel your torso trying to slide around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's hard to tell, but it's there. And once you get kind of tuned in, you'll feel it. You'll feel like, oh, wait a second, I feel like I'm sliding. I feel my shoulders trying to hold me in place.
Yeah.
Alright, so now let's try to do a turn exactly 180 degrees, basically a U-turn. Yep, so go to the right, and we're going to go exactly back the opposite direction. So I want you to roll into a nice turn, keep the rudder coordinated, and then when we get parallel, going the opposite way to the river, then roll back out. So see how we're kind of banked a little steep? So if you don't like that steepness, just a little opposite aileron to shallow it out. There you go. So you're constantly fine-tuning the controls to get what you want.
Yeah.
Good. Let's do one to the left. Same thing. 180 degree turn to the left. well done. So you got a great foundation on turns. So when we want to climb and descend, we talked about angling the nose up or down to get a little angle of attack. Okay? So right now we're just cruising along at about 6 feet. We're pretty much holding altitude. We maybe, maybe we're doing 65 at, perfectly straight level. I want you to raise the nose up a little bit and let the speed settle at about 55.
Okay.
So just go ahead and do that now. So just pitch up so the nose goes up a little bit, and then just hold it and watch your airspeed and let it settle in at 55. And just kind of hold that nose position right where it is. We'll give it 10 or 15 seconds and then decide whether we need to raise the nose a little bit or lower the nose a little bit.
Okay.
Alright, so it looks like we've kind of stabilized and we're right at just a hair faster than 55. That's good. And if we look at our altimeter, we're going to see that we are continuing to climb slightly at our 55. Is that okay? Now I want you to pitch the nose up a little bit higher, and I want you to stabilize at 50. So pitch the nose up a little higher, hold it, and just let it stabilize and see where you're at. It's going to take a few seconds to settle in. That's why we just have to be patient. Alright, good. So we're at 50. Hold that nose position right there. Don't let the nose fall. And just hold it right at 50. And you'll see that, now we're at a steeper angle of climb.
Yes.
Now we're not climbing that fast because we don't have a lot of excess power.
Right.
We're at cruise power. We're going to climb a little bit, but we're not climbing that fast.
Right.
If we want to climb faster, like not airspeed, but rate faster, well, we could add extra power with the throttle, and we'll climb faster. So I'm going to go to full power, and this extra power is going to help us climb. So now hold 55, I'm sorry, we'll hold 50, 50. And that's our best angle of climb. And now we're using all that excess power from full power, and we're going to climb even faster. So pitch up a little bit more. Let's get back up to 50, and just kind of keep us going straight and level at 50. Let it stabilize. So right there, hold the nose right there. And good. That's a good VX, best angle of climb. And notice our altimeter is now going up a lot faster than it was.
Yes.
Okay. Alright, so now I'm going to reduce power, just hold the nose right where it is. So now we're still at 50, but without all this excess power, our rate of climb is now very low again. Okay, let's turn around and head back over to the left. And since we're on this side of the river, just head over to the left and we're going to fly into the farmland over here alongside the river. And you can lower the nose back to cruise and pick up, 60 knot cruise again. So we're going to pick up that nose that's kind of slightly below the horizon, or visual attitude, which will give us about 60, and that's our normal kind of cruise.
Right about there?
No, that's a little high. That's a climb attitude. So
Right there.
Let the nose come down. A little more. A little more. A little bit more. Right about there. That's about a good kind of cruise attitude. Actually, a little bit, nose down a little bit more. Right there.
You also kind of feel that in your arm, in your hand.
Yeah. So the plane is not always perfectly in trim. Sometimes we're going to have to hold a little bit of back pressure or something like that. Alright, so just kind of flying along the Levee Road here. Now we're going to talk about descent. So if we hold our airspeed at 60, which is what we're doing right now, it's 60. If we reduce power, we can still fly 60, but it means that we're coming down. We're trading our altitude, we're turning it into airspeed. This is the roller coaster, going down the hill. We have all this energy for being up high, and we're turning it into airspeed as we descend. So you're going to feel that. You're going to feel the forces of the stick change, but that's okay. We're gonna keep 60 on the airspeed. So power's coming back. So let the nose fall a little bit, because we got to start descending. And see how the airspeed has dropped to 50. Let the nose come down a little bit more. we're going to hold about 60, but we don't have enough power to maintain level flight, so we're slowly going to descend,
Right.
which is what we want to do when we come in for landing. We want to hold our airspeed at a good, safe airspeed, but we want to come down. Now, if we were to just to push the nose down, we could go down, but we would accelerate on the way down. And if we wanted to go fast, that'd be okay. But generally speaking, we want to cruise at, around 60. So when we want to descend, we have to reduce power, let the nose drop a little bit until we get our airspeed where we want it, and we're going to descend at that airspeed. Now, if we were to pitch the nose up to, say, 50, we would descend at 50. And if we said, okay, we want to descend a little faster, we want to lower the nose to 65. So go ahead and lower the nose a little bit and let the airplane accelerate to 65.
Okay.
So just kind of fine tune it. So lower the nose a little bit, it'll accelerate and stabilize. Lower it a little bit, it'll accelerate and stabilize. And we're just sort of bleeding off our altitude little by little. Combination of power and airspeed where we hold altitude. That's what we were doing before. It was about 5,800 RPM at about 60 knots. That was the right combination of airspeed to hold altitude.
Right.
At this low power setting, we might not be able to hold altitude. We don't have enough power. We're lighter, we're coming down. And if we were to double our power, our airspeed would be a lot higher to hold altitude. Okay, let's just kind of go over to the right. We're going to follow the road over here. Now watch that nose, because if the nose comes up, we're going to slow down. So we want to kind of keep it around that 50, 55. All right, this is a good altitude, so we'll hold this altitude. I'm going to bring the power up a little bit, and we're going to cruise. There we go. That's good. That's a good cruise right there. So now we're just going to, hold this altitude at around 55 or 60. Okay, we've done what we wanted to do. It's time to climb back up to a higher altitude. Go ahead and go to full power. So smoothly push it all the way forward. All the way, it goes forward a little bit more. Okay, and then let's climb out at about 55. So pitch the nose, so we're climbing at 55. Back to 1500. make your turn first, get all situated, go in the opposite direction. When you're nice and level and situated, then we'll descend. Levee Road. Alright, good. Now you can bring your power back. Let's go down to about 5,000 RPM. Alright, and then we're going to descend around 50, 55 or so. Good, and you're just going to fine-tune the position of the nose to hold that airspeed. Okay, we are coming down. Yeah, 1500. So you can see the altimeter is slowly coming down. Now if we decided, I really need to come down faster, this is taking forever, we have two options. We could descend at a higher airspeed, or we could just pitch down to 60 and come down a little faster. So do that, pitch down to 60. Leave the power right where it is, just pitch down to 60. And now we're going to come down at a faster airspeed. And then we're going to Yep. And if we decide, you know, I really don't like descending at 60 miles an hour, I like 55 better, well, we can just take a little bit more power out, and then we can come down at a faster rate at 55. So you get to make these decisions as the pilot in command, and depending on what you need to accomplish. You know, I've got no hurry, I'm just going to ease on down a little at a time. Okay, that's great. No, I really want to get down because I got to go pee, so I want to land at this airport and go pee. So I really want to come down quick.
Right. That's our never exceed speed. So we can't go faster than 95, otherwise we might damage the airplane. But we still got a lot of ways before we get that fast. What would be threatened first structurally on the plane?
You know, I don't really know. It could be something as simple as the windshield came in. Or it could be that the wing strut starts to bend a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, it's hard to say.
Or the fabric.
Yeah.
You don't want to know.
Yeah, exactly. We don't want to know. off the side, that's fine. You can do that.
Okay.
Or if you want to have it right underneath the airplane, that's fine too.
Okay.
But I want you to follow it and try to be as consistent
I
as
want it on my left side.
Okay. That makes sense. Your power is good. Anything, plus or minus 100 RPM is fine.
Okay.
You don't have to try to get it exact.
You're going to let me make this 90?
Yeah. Let's do that 90 and we'll go up to the right.
When should I start it?
About 3 seconds before you get there. So you kind of have to estimate. Where will we be in 3 seconds,
I would
So I'll
say-
tell you when to start turning. Let's go a little bit further. A little bit. Getting close. And now start your turn. That'll give you a nice easy turn to roll out right alongside the engine.
Yeah. Now let's see if I can line up. I didn't keep 1500.
You'll get better at holding altitude precisely. So right now you're doing great. Just keep working it.
Ah, this is so fun.
You're doing great, Morgan.
So
You really
damn
are.
Fun. So damn fun.
All right, so follow that ditch until it crosses the Levee Road up ahead. So just keep following it, and the Levee Road is up there, and then we're going to turn to the left, and we're going to come back along the Levee, or the road, no, it's off the Levee right there.
Follow the ditch to the Levee Road.
Yep, so, just over at our 1 o'clock across the river.
Yes.
So just kind of head over towards those hangar buildings, and I'm going to demonstrate a touch and go in the airplane.
Where's the airport?
It's directly off our nose. You'll see some long, skinny hangar buildings right there.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Yep. So just kind of head towards those hangars, and then I'm going to take over, and I'm going to demonstrate what a landing looks like in this airplane.
What do you want me to angle toward?
See the long row of buildings right there? Just kind of aim us directly towards it, and then I'll take over. So this is the little airport, Liberty Landing.
Okay.
Sometimes called Missouri City. Okay, I've got the airplane. All right, so we're gonna fly a traffic pattern here where we parallel the runway. That's our downwind.
Parallel.
Okay, so we are downwind right now. We're gonna start reducing power so we can descend. And I want to descend around, just 60, maybe 55 or something like that. And I'm just gonna reduce my power so I can start to have a descending path that will take us right down to the runway.
Right.
I don't want to do it all at once, but I'm just going to manage my descent, and I'm going to apply this nice kind of square pattern. So now we're turning base, and you'll see it here in a second. The runway, it's a gravel runway, so there it is right there. And so I can reduce power a little bit more.
This is very cool to follow along with your input.
Yep.
After you taught me something.
And so my airspeed's good. I'm around 60, and I'm descending right towards the edge of the runway. So I'm going to bring a little bit more power out, and I'm just going to, I can see how the runway, we're aiming right at it. We're just kind of coming right down towards it. That's what we're doing. We're judging our glide so that we're coming right down towards the runway. We'll talk more about that in another flight. And then we're just going to level out and skim the runway until the wheels are down. So see how all that we were talking about, following a precise path in the air? Yeah,
yes.
You got to do that if you want to land on a runway. You got to follow the right path.
Yes.
You got to be able to climb and descend.
Yeah, it really matters. Once your wheels are down, rudder becomes important.
Right, because
the rudder.
Yep, the rudder also controls the nose wheel.
Yeah.
So that's how we steer on the ground. Ailerons, at slow speed, ailerons don't do much.
Okay.
They rock the wings a little bit because we do have a little bit of airflow over them, but they don't really do much.
Yeah.
So we don't use them to do a whole lot. All right, and then help me out here. Step on that left rudder for me, so make sure it's all the way over. Can't point quite all the way forward. Okay, that's good, thanks. Alright, so now we're going to just line up on the runway. We throttle up, accelerate, and lift off. So there's 40, we're looking for about 45 or 50 or so. And we're going to climb out at 50 to 55. the dredge, they load it on that hopper barge, and they take it back and they dump it on the shore to be used on concrete and roadways and all that.
Right.
So one of the joys of a really light airplane like this is that we can get into areas that a big fast airplane really can't. It's
Yeah.
not really safe to fly a Cessna or a